Hello, this is Joe Pryor of the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, part of Redbud Realty and Associates. And I've got my iPad right here because I want to talk to you about an article that just came up that comes from Fannie Mae. It's something that they release every quarter, and it's statistics that they do from polls that are taken on how people are feeling about home ownership. And I think it's significant to really pay attention to this because 2007, 2008, we had an incredible bubble deflate, which was the housing bubble, the biggest bubble in history. Houses were being treated like they were ATM machines. I mean, the whole idea of home ownership was skewed. In the real estate industry, those of us that are really involved in this, not just in the buying and selling of homes, but the business of it, as I am with boards and organizations and National Association of Realtors, we want to know, how are people thinking about things? What do we need to do? What's our job right now to improve the attitude towards home ownership? And I want to give you a few stats here. And excuse me as I look down just a little bit because I want to make sure I get them right. But, first of all, 84% of the general population believe that owning a home makes more sense than renting. And that's a large percentage. I mean, when you think about what we've been through, when you think of the shadow inventory and the underwater mortgages and the millions of homes that have been foreclosed on, this was a terrible, terrible problem. And I wouldn't blame anybody from being discouraged, but it kind of shows you, I think, that home ownership is an ingrained thought and an ingrained feeling and value that Americans have. And in fact, really, I think to a great extent is the basis of this country is home ownership. That's one of the reasons, certainly not the only reason, that we fought a revolution to be able to own property free of the crown. That was something that was our own. And so I think we're getting back to that. Now, what I find really interesting about the survey is that, normally we pay a lot of attention to things like the interest deduction that you get off your taxes. I think it's a very, very important thing. But it looks to me like that the top 4 reasons people believe home ownership is still better are emotional reasons. And that's very important because that is always something, that right brain activity comes before the left. And so basically people are saying, I want a home because I want a place to raise my children and also have them close to good schools so that they can get ahead in life. The second thing is they want a physical structure where they feel safe. It's something that they can go in their garage door with their garage door opener, it shuts the door. I mean, they just feel safe. It's their sanctuary. The third thing is, well, we need more space. Maybe they're in, renting 1,000, 1,200 square feet and they have a new child. Oh, okay, we need another room. We need another bedroom. We need a study. We need 1,600 square feet. We need a bigger backyard so our kids can play. So that's still an important thing. And then the control of your living space, the fact that you have the right to do things that if you want to remodel or put gray carpet in instead of tan carpet in, that it's something that you can do to personalize your experience. That's also extremely important because it becomes a reflection of you. Now, I don't want to discount the economics of this because those are the other reasons that come right behind here. 63% of the general population believe that home ownership is a safe investment. Now, that's considerably less than the 84% that believe that it's better to own than rent. 63% is still low, and I think this reflects the fact that people are unsure of whether we've reached the bottom. Are we going up in prices? Has the overall market stabilized? We certainly have in Oklahoma, but there's still some questions in part of the country, and that is really something that we have got to work on. And 53% believe that home ownership has more potential as an investment than any other traditional asset class. Now again, these are not people buying rental property, these are people buying homes for themselves. They believe this is the #1 investment that they make, and that's extremely important. So you can see we're moving in the right direction here, even though that there's more work that needs to be done. Now finally, rent versus own. 64% of renters have aspirations someday to own their own home. That is what they want. Now they know it's cheaper to own a home than it is to rent. Rents are going up like crazy. We have investors making a lot of money here buying investment property, which is one of the things that I do. But understandably, people are going, from the point of view of the fact that I can rent lower with a 4% interest rate or own lower with a 4% interest rate than what it costs me to rent from someone else and make them money. the possibility of appreciation that, maybe over a 4 or 5 year period, really, if I make a little money on the house and I take my interest deductions and property tax deductions, it may be the equivalent of paying $200 a month for rent after you get your profit out of there and your equity out of there is versus $1,400. So you can see why that's important. And 70% of renters think that owning is superior to renting. So we can see that over the next 5 years, there's a little bit of work to do, but there's a lot of faith and confidence, even growing, about home ownership, that what we have to do is reestablish the values. We have to make sure that the market is stable. We've got a little bit of work to do on some of these folks to say, look, we still think this is the best thing for you. And that is one thing that I hope every realtor takes seriously and every organization that realtors are involved in takes seriously, so that we can really bring home the idea that owning a home is an American thing. This is Joe Pryor of the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, where we deliver traditional real estate values at the speed of technology.